I'm Jen Wanger. I'm a co-chair along with Carol Wells here. We are going to head up the silent auction part of next year's HEARTBeat of Love Luncheon. That was bad. Anyway, so we're here today to talk about how the committee works and what its goals are, and in particular how to go into stores and restaurants and ask for donations.
Mm-hmm. And hi everyone, I'm Carol Wells, and I'm, as Jen said, we're co-chairs of the 2026 fundraising luncheon that includes a silent auction. So thank you for being here and your interest in helping us to gather items. The auction is an important part of the luncheon. Last year we raised about $25,000, and our goal is to get into the 30s this coming year. And that was my first time last year going out and talking to the merchants and going into the restaurants and stores, and at first you wonder what kind of reception you're going to have, but people were very open to having the conversation. Not everybody gives because people have a lot of other charities, but a large percentage of them actually did.
Right. I myself, last year was my very first time ever going in to ask for donations. I've done a lot of fundraising over the years, but I always kind of shied away from asking for things. And I found out it's not that difficult. And like Carol says, people are pretty friendly and open. It's kind of a good idea to maybe when you first walk in, obviously you want to introduce yourself, say you're a volunteer with Mama's House. Sometimes I'd say, have you heard of Mama's House? And sometimes they'd say, oh yes. Other times, no, they don't really know anything about it. It's a good idea to have, before you walk in, kind of an elevator speech of describing Mama's House and what we do and for the moms and the babies, and then go on to say that we're working for the luncheon, our big fundraiser of the year in February 2026, and we're out gathering donations, items, gift cards, whatever you might feel comfortable in giving us.
And just building on what Jen said, we'll give you talking points of some key things to say, and we'll also give you collateral about Mama's House so that you can share that. As Jen said, some people know all about it and say, oh, yes, of course, I'm going to give. That's the easy one.
It's the fun part.
Right, it's the fun part. And others, I haven't heard, or, and we're, in a moment, we'll talk about just some of the things that people might say and how you might overcome their hesitation. Sometimes a no is a no. Sometimes it is really means I just need more information, or I might need to talk to somebody else. So we'll give you some ideas, and we'll talk about a few of them here, some of the normal responses that you hear, which, as Jen said, it ranges from, oh yeah, I give every year. I'm very happy to do so. And it might be a gift certificate to their establishment or an item or what have you. Or it might be, I'm not familiar and I need to think about it. And you might ask what they would need to make their decision. And then sometimes it's, I need to go talk to my manager. And so we'll give you some talking points on time to come back or time to call back, so that you have an action item when you leave there. And then one other point that comes up sometimes is, I already gave to Mama's House in 2025 because some people gave in January before the luncheon this past year, and so it's totally fine to say we can do that again. We can come back and pick up your item and give you the paperwork for that, because it is tax deductible for whatever they donate, and we can do that in January of 2026 as well.
Yes, I had a lot of businesses say, well, it's the end of my fiscal year, or I'm out. I've used up my budget for donations, and I said, fine, I'll be back in January, and that works fine. You'll also be walking in with a letter, for one thing, addressed to whom it may concern, type of thing, describing Mama's House and the upcoming luncheon and those things, and with our 501c 33 whatever information, so they get some background and they have it for their files. You walk in and you're talking to a manager, but the owner isn't there. Something to give the owner to read over, and then you can follow up. I had so many people say, okay, I'll take it and I'll give it to my manager, I'll give it to the owner. And I sometimes followed up. I couldn't always get that done. But when you let that happen, you really do have to follow up, because you're not going to hear back.
Right.
They have so many other folks just like us with good causes coming in all the time. So
Right.
you have to kind of be a little bit aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, follow-up is really important, and people don't mind. I don't mind being followed up with if I forget on things, so I think that's definitely a key. One of the things that you might be wondering, like, what kinds of things do we ask for? And it's important that this is to know that this is a very special event, and it's not a garage sale, or it's not a used items unless it's very gently used. So we're looking for new items. Some gently used would be fine if it looks new, and then gift cards. And this past year, we had a list of places that we would go into. But we also, as we got going and we had some really wonderful responses, we're like, oh, well, what about this or what about that? And went into places that Mama's House had not gone into before. And one was in my own backyard. It was a golf course in my neighborhood, and I hadn't even thought about going in, and they were so happy to donate a round of golf for 4 people. So those are the kinds of things that you can also help people think about what they might give you. If they're actual items, we do package them up nicely in baskets, etc. So that we wouldn't expect them, the merchants, to do that.
Yeah, some of them do. Kitchen
Yeah.
made really nice.
Yeah.
She does that so nicely. But
and the other thing, just building on that is important to say is, obviously it's for the cause, and it's for the moms and the children that are really working very, very hard to have a wonderful life, a productive life, and be back on their own. But it's also an opportunity and a win for those that donate. This luncheon, if you haven't been to it before, has every year an attendance of at least 1,000 people from the area, and these people are very interested in helping Mama's House, and they're also very receptive to the merchants who donate, and we're very cognizant of making sure that the merchants are, that whoever has donated, that their name is clearly stated, and what their business is, so to encourage people to also patronize them.
okay, another thing you might be interested in is there are different places you can go, or even in your own life. You have a manicurist, you have a cleaning person who comes in and does a really good job. You can ask maybe for a mani-pedi donation.
Yeah, the handyman is a great idea. The cleaning woman that you just mentioned is really wonderful too, where you get your hair done to get your hair.
Yeah, your hair.
Right.
Yeah,
Sephora to get your makeup done.
Sure. Yeah, there are lots of different ideas that are a little bit easier maybe for you than going into the store or the restaurant to ask for things. And talk about the how we can split up the whole Coachella Valley.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've kind of concentrate just on Palm Desert or Rancho
Right.
Mirage, because this is where many of us live.
Right.
But there's a whole valley out there.
Oh my gosh, and I think we learned that last year. We each had a list of places to go to, and they were dispersely located around the valley, so you were driving a lot in a lot of different places and missing the opportunity to really look at a few blocks and say, oh, who can I talk to? This year we're going to give people geography, so if you will volunteer, we'll give you so many blocks, and that is yours to go into any business that is there. Like, we never touch Palm Springs. There's so many wonderful things there that we can go to. And
Tram.
Yes, and as Jen said, we really focus very close to the location of Mama's House, so there's lots of great opportunity. But know that for that there will be an opportunity for you to stay in a concentrated area and think about all the possibilities, and we won't also duplicate. So we had a little bit of that last year where we were going into the same, and I think in one case they actually gave to all of us, or both of us anyway, but we want it to be your area that you would own. And then just think outside the box. I just want to underscore that. I went into a framing store here in Palm Desert that was not on my list. I was getting something framed, and I've been there a few times, and I just said, would you be interested and able to donate something? Well, they donated this beautiful painting. I remember the woman from San Diego who got it, and she goes, I've been looking for something. This is just perfect for me. And they also donated a gift card for framing, and the people went in the very next day. So as you think about things you do, Pilates or Orange Theory, or all the things you do that within that geography that you have, you never know what somebody might donate that might be exactly what somebody else needs or wants, and ultimately it benefits the organization. So creativity and innovation is also very, very welcome.
Right. Another thing we haven't mentioned is you might have a timeshare, or know someone with a timeshare or a second home, maybe a cool cabin up at Big Bear that we could silent auction a weekend or a week or whatever it might be. So that's another thing that, especially around here, there are a lot of nice homes, condos that people might like to spend a weekend in, even if they live here.
Right.
So think about that.
Great idea.
Go ahead.
The bottom line is that we're very, very grateful and excited that you will choose to join us, and you'll never be alone. We all can help, and if you run into anything that you want to talk to Jen or I about that we can help you with, we would be more than happy to do so. And we clearly do not have all the answers, so we want you to bring your thoughts and your caring and your abilities to raise money for. There's nothing better than women who are choosing life, choosing to have their children, and learn skills that they can take back out into the everyday world and continue to raise loving and productive families. We hope at this point you're very excited about joining our team, and we've talked a lot today about how to solicit items for the silent auction. There are many other things that we need to do in order to have a successful auction, from putting the gifts together in baskets to delivering them, storing them, etc. So we welcome, even if you don't want to do the solicitation, but we hope that you will. But if not, there's plenty of other things, and we'd love for you to join our committee. So if you're interested in volunteering and helping us raise funds through the silent auction process, you can call Cynthia at Mama's House, and she can walk you through how to sign up on VSP. Or you can contact either one of us through Cynthia. You can just ask to speak with us, and Cynthia will give you our contact information. And then if this date works for you, on Friday, June 20th, that is the monthly coffee for volunteers here at Mama's House, all kinds of volunteers, and you can come and get your update at 9:30. We will have a silent auction meeting immediately following that, so you can plan. If you don't come to the coffee, you can come after at 10:30 and join us, and we can give you more information. So we hope to see you. We need you, and more importantly, the moms and the kids need you.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you in June at the Coffee Club. If you're out of town, of course, for the summer, we'll be available. Any questions that you might have.